Oh, it's live, pal.
Sorry.
We will ban you from the Summerfest.
Right here in the Silverdome.
Jeff Harvey.
And I have half the brain that you
do. Welcome to the Wrestle Hunks Podcast, a podcast where three hunks get together and discuss some of the very worst things you can find on the WWE Network. And I didn't write a thing about the podcast this week, so shout out to Slex again, I guess. I'm your host, the Mordecai of microphone, Brandon Marlow, and as always, I'm joined by the hunkiest hunk, Brody Price.
Hey.
The road's calling, and it's telling you to go to the Gold Coast.
I'm on my way. On my way, boys.
I'm on my way, babe. I'm also joined by the IMDb of wrestling, Nathan Marlow.
We're in for a good one here.
Hey, when you've got 6 midgets in the ring in one match, you know you're in for a good time.
Cheesy Queasy and Michael Beasley.
I think if Michael Beasley wrestled in that match, it probably would have been worse. So, Queasy can work, man. So the Wrestle Hunks Podcast is again brought to you by a sponsor, and this week it's WWF Squirt Heads. And as always, our expert, Nathan Marlow, is going to tell you a little bit more about it.
Fill them up, give them a rise, and squirt them. I love these new WWF Squirt Heads, dude. You can get all your favorites like Bushwhacker Luke, Marty Jannetty, and Road Warrior Hawk. That sounds like some sticky fun, dude. You know, the Big Balboski loves to squirt him. And you know, ladies, make sure your books are closed so your pages don't leak.
I thought you were doing a Hulk Hogan impersonation for the start of that.
Yeah, so did I.
I was.
Was it? Oh, okay. I was like, oh shit, it's actually Val, but you're doing both. You're a true voice actor.
That's why I wrote out experts. You fucking read the script, bro.
I thought you just vandalized it as you usually do, trying to trip me up.
No.
Oh, I thought everybody's favourite WWF squirt head was Sunny.
Ooh. What's a squirt head, by the way? I don't know what that means.
Brandon sent it in the inbox once.
Yeah, I think from memory, it's like a big cartoon head, and then you fill it up with water, and then you squeeze it, and water comes out.
It's like it would fit in your palm, and then they have a gap between their teeth. It looks so fucking corny.
Oh, well, I didn't notice Sin Cara's penis shirt when he sent it the first time, so I probably didn't notice these either.
Hey, Sin Cara's penis shirt, it really flies under the radar.
You got to be looking for it.
It's not as obvious as the Jomo Sapiens "we're going to eat your lunch" shirt.
What's obvious about that? How bad it is?
Okay, so this week we're going to be reviewing Survivor Series 1994. And as you'd know if you listened to last week's show, we had a draw in the Twitter poll a couple weeks back, meaning technically both Rock Bottom 1998 and Survivor Series 1994 were the winners. We reviewed Rock Bottom last week, so this week we're obviously reviewing Survivor Series 1994. So in place of the poll this week, we did a poll to decide what we'd review for our Christmas special, and the results here were even more fucked up than our previous poll. We decided that a regular tie wasn't enough, so this time we had a three-way tie between Del Rio hitting Santa with his car on Raw, Good Santa versus Bad Santa on Raw, and Armageddon 2002. For some reason on Twitter, it shows that Armageddon 2002 has 1% more of the vote. But I did the math, and Pricey knows this. My math wasn't my strong suit in high school.
That's true.
But I'm pretty sure it was mathematically impossible for it to be ahead. So we decided that instead of redoing the poll, we're just going to review the Del Rio episode because it's obviously the best choice there. These polls are just fucked. Yeah,
Twitter had all three of them highlighted like they'd won, but for some reason it said 27% for one of them. So, we decided there's no need for another poll. In the Christmas spirit, we're going to choose amongst ourselves.
That really is. The Christmas spirit really is just do whatever the fuck you want.
We're giving a gift to ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
you got to take care of yourself on the in the holiday season, and that's how we're doing it.
That's exactly right.
But moving on to this week's episode, had either of you seen Survivor Series 1994 before watching it for this podcast?
I have a note here for this. No, Brandon, I've never gone back to watch this shit. Was my note. I think that sums it up.
What about you, Nat? I reckon you've watched at least the Royal Family versus the...
Yeah, I watched it a couple of weeks ago. I was telling Pricey today. Yeah, I actually saw a Twitter video of the match. I was like, fuck, I need to watch this shit. And it was pretty bad. It was just before Survivor Series, so it's kind of a reason.
You were in the spirit.
I was.
Wanted to see some good elimination matches, and instead you watched that.
It definitely didn't disappoint, though.
I mean, it's probably not the worst match on the card, so... I know that's not saying a lot once you actually watch Survivor Series 1994, but hey, if I was a wrestler, my goal would just be go out there and have at least the second worst match.
Probably what they told Cheesy, Sleazy, and Easy, or whatever his name is.
I hope they got paid well. Fucking
They would have.
humiliating themselves like that. At least the clowns could put makeup on and nobody knew who they were.
Well, one of them was actually Dink and Pink, I think, are actual wrestlers.
Oh, really? The old Hornswoggle El Torito types?
They actually have Wikipedia pages.
Yeah, I noticed some of them actually do have Wikipedia pages because I was looking them up for our hit segment, which of these wrestlers are dead, and yeah, some of them had it, and some of them was just like nobody knows who this dude's real name is, so apparently his name's Queasy now. So moving on to the history, build-up, and background for Survivor Series 1994. It was held on November 23, 1994, and on this day in history, we had Art Barr, an American professional wrestler, dying at 28. He wrestled in WCW very briefly and mostly spent his career in AAA down in Mexico. He also raped someone in 1989, so I feel like that's important to point out here. The rape is actually why he didn't have a very big career in America. A lot of people talk really highly of him, but yeah, he came to WCW, and there's rumors, I don't know how valid they are, that the WWF kind of mailed news companies in the area that WCW were working about his rape, and they were like, yeah, this dude did that, and then eventually WCW were like, oh, he's not worth the trouble.
I've heard that name before, Art Barr.
Yeah, I've heard of it before, and it's just some random name. But then I found out that this was a thing. He was also friends with Eddie Guerrero apparently, and apparently that Barr used the frog splash. So as a tribute to his friend, Eddie started using it, which I did not know.
I didn't know that, but that's pretty interesting.
So yeah, he deserves at least some credit for giving Eddie the frog splash. We also have, in more important news that Nat will be excited about, a bunch of random people also died on this day. We have Eldero L.D. Williams, who is a tenor saxophonist. He
probably did Punga.
Oh, man. If he did Punga, if he did the saxy little beat for Punga, I'll go to his grave right after this podcast. So we have Frederick Hawkins, an American dancer and choreographer. That's important to note. He died at 85, probably from too much dancing. We also have Tommy Boyce, an American songwriter who committed suicide at age 55. William Donald Campbell, who was a diarist/ornithologist who died at 89. And as for what was going on in pop culture, Baby Come Back by Pat O'Banton was the number one song on the charts.
Oh, and what a song.
I know, yeah. It was something good this week. And The Santa Claus was the number one film at the box office, which means we've covered two shows that had both of the Santa Claus movies at number one at the box office. What a powerhouse franchise.
Jeez.
Shout out to Tim Allen, man. He's my favourite cocaine dealer of all time.
Goodness.
So Survivor Series 1994 was held at the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio, Texas. And the attendance for this event was reported at 10,000. And the pay-per-view buy rate was 254,000, which was the second lowest buy rate for a Survivor Series at this time. The year before did way worse, though. It only did 180,000, so this was probably seen by the WWE as a win. It actually did more buys than both the Royal Rumble and King of the Ring that year, though, so in general, this is a pretty poor time for the WWF. So in the build-up to the show itself, Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter was writing that he was hearing that Bob Backlund would be winning the title from Bret Hart at Survivor Series, which he fucking had the scoop pretty early on. Sometimes he has no idea what he's talking about, and other times he's just busting out the big breaking news.
It's pretty good stuff there.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like it's clearly not something he just made up. Like, surely he wouldn't just make up that Bob Backlund is fucking winning it. So he's got the inside sources. In the November 14th edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, he reports about Randy Savage ending his 10-year relationship with the WWF. Savage then began a number of negotiations with WCW. Hogan and Jimmy Hart reportedly reached out to Savage recently to mend fences with him in order to bring him into WCW and feud with Hogan. They even arranged to get Savage a guest spot on Baywatch. Latest word is that Savage will debut at Starrcade, and word is Vince McMahon learned of the negotiations between Savage and WCW and confronted Savage, and it led to Savage leaving the company. And on Raw this week, McMahon took the unprecedented step of acknowledging Savage's departure and thanking him for his years in WWF and wishing him well. So, do you all believe the rumors about, like, Macho Man fucking Stephanie McMahon? I don't think I've ever spoken about you guys with this, like, topic, and I don't know if it's ever going to come up again. So, have you heard those rumors?
I've heard, like, a little bit of it, but I wouldn't know enough about the situation to guess one way or the other. I couldn't say.
What about you, Nat?
Yeah, I've heard about him, but I don't think it's true. Why would Vince on the air wish him good luck?
Yeah, that's a good point. I know. Yeah,
that's probably the only argument against it.
It's also, like, super fucked up because when it allegedly happened, Stephanie was 14, so it's like, I don't know. I don't want to believe it just for that. I think the most, like, interesting part of it is that you can rearrange the letters of Stephanie McMahon's name and make an anagram for the Macho Man's penis. Which is, that's one of my favorite fucking little trivia facts, and I don't know if somebody started that rumor just based on that, but
that's the whole reason for the rumor, is because of that.
I mean, whoever discovered that, full credit to you. Like, who's even just being like, oh, might rearrange the words, the letters in Stephanie McMahon's name today.
Must have been a busy day.
just real bored, just fucking at work, just be like, oh, Stephanie McMahon, oh, fuck, it's the Macho Man's penis.
That's disgusting.
So in other news, the latest word is that Bob Backlund is expected to win the WWF title at Survivor Series and hold it through the spring, so it won't be a quickie title run. So Dave immediately fucks up his great reporting by getting an absolute stinker of a scoop there. It's going to be one of the shortest reigns in history. In the November 21 Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was reported that WCW is reportedly interested in stealing Yokozuna away from WWF, and Dave says it's because Hogan wants to get his win back after jobbing to Yoko in his last WWF pay-per-view match. So for Survivor Series itself here, the main event feuds were between Bret Hart and Bob Backlund, who would face each other for the WWF Championship, and Undertaker and Yokozuna, who would face each other in a casket match. Bret's feud with Bob Backlund dated back to the July 30, 1994 episode of WWF Superstars of Wrestling. Backlund believed that he had won the match in the WWF Championship by defeating Bret Hart, but the match had not ended, and Hart would end up pinning Backlund. When Hart tried to shake Backlund's hand after the match, Backlund slapped him in the face and locked him in a cross-face chicken wing. After that, Backlund began acting in a completely different manner than he had before, demanding respect from his fellow wrestlers and insisting that they call him Mr. Backlund, and using the cross-face chicken wing on them if they did not adhere to his wishes. He claimed that he'd never been beaten for the WWF Championship on December 26, 1983, as the match ended when his manager, Arnold Scarland, threw a towel into the ring rather than allowing Backlund to submit to the Iron Sheik's camel clutch. Shout out to fucking the WWE just running a show on Boxing Day in 1983. Vince doesn't discriminate. He made everybody work on fucking New Year's Day and Christmas this year and last year. And even back then, he was just like, fucking Boxing Day, come in and see you Sheiky Baby with the title.
Bloody all of them.
So playing off of this, a rematch between Hart and Backlund was signed for Survivor Series. The match was signed as a submission match, but with the stipulation that the only way for a wrestler to win was to have the other person throw in the towel. And since this required a wrestler to have a cornerman, each of the participants chose one, and the challenger chose Owen Hart, while the champion went with Davey Boy Smith. You really know the WWF is struggling when this is their World Championship feud.
Definitely.
Like, they're playing it up on commentary that, like, Backlund's, like, 45 at this time. He looks fucking older than 45. But seriously, in 1994, you couldn't come up with a better challenger at a Big Four pay-per-view than Bob Backlund.
Yeah, but George Foreman did it.
I get the feeling that Vince literally turned on the TV one night and was like, oh, wow, George Foreman is in his 40s and he won the belt. Oh, who do we have that's old? Oh, yeah, I'll just make Bob Backlund win it. Like, I don't know. It's so bizarre to think that Bob Backlund won the belt in the 90s.
They also had, they had some pretty big talent still there. Like, Michaels, Razor Ramon, and Diesel weren't, they were in that opening match, so I don't know why you'd go with Bob Backlund in the main event.
Yeah, I know. You've got, there's a lot of dog shit talent at this time, but there's still actually a lot of decent guys that you could choose to put in there with Bret rather than old-ass Bob Backlund doing his fucking cross-faced chicken wing. So the other main event feud here was between Taker and Yokozuna, and this began at Survivor Series in 1993. During an elimination match, Yokozuna was unable to injure The Undertaker despite his best efforts, slamming The Undertaker's head into the ring steps and performing the Banzai drop on him. A match was booked for the Royal Rumble in 1994, in which The Undertaker would challenge the WWF champion at the time, which was Yokozuna, in a casket match. And during the match, Mr. Fuji would hire 9 other wrestlers to interfere, and Yokozuna won the match after opening The Undertaker's urn, which according to the storyline contained the secret to The Undertaker's powers. After the match, The Undertaker appeared on the video screen and vowed to return to the World Wrestling Federation one day. He was not seen for several months, although in reality he was just taking off time for injuries to heal. And The Undertaker would return at SummerSlam 1994, defeating The Underfaker. A rematch against Yokozuna was then scheduled for Survivor Series, and this was also to be a casket match, and Chuck Norris was brought in as a special outside referee to prevent interference.
Fuck yeah, he was.
This was really the original 1 year in the making match before The Rock and John Cena did it, really.
Did you guys watch that video I sent you last night?
Which one? I think I didn't, actually.
It was just a clip of the Royal Rumble you spoke of where Yokozuna beats Undertaker in a casket match, and then he comes up on the screen.
Oh yeah, The Undertaker ascends to the heavens. Yeah,
it's one of the strangest things I've seen, but it was entertaining. I thought it was fun.
Oh yeah, the WWF was just weird at this time. Just no other way to describe it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So onto the actual show itself. And because this is a early 90s show, the number of dead people on this show is 8, which is, I think, the highest we've ever had. And I listed them out here. I might have missed maybe some fucking...
Seems more than that.
I thought it was, but I looked it up, and as far as I could tell, there was 8. I had the British Bulldog, Jim Neidhart, Owen Hart, Cheesy, Bam Bam Bigelow, Jimmy Del Rey, Mabel, and Yokozuna. And... that means every match, except for the WWF Championship match, features at least one deceased wrestler.
I've got some that you've missed, actually.
Really? Who did I miss?
Well, you said that the WWF Championship match. Owen Hart's in that match. Do you just mean the people actually wrestling, or?
Yeah, I just meant the people wrestling. Yeah, I didn't count Owen or Davey Boy because I'd already counted them from their actual match.
Well, Paul Bearer is dead.
Oh yeah, I always miss out on the fucking managers.
Mr. Fuji, Gorilla Monsoon, who was on commentary.
Oh, I didn't even think about doing commentary.
And I was going through the Wikipedia when I was sort of counting these, and it said Lou Albano was a manager for one of the matches, but I don't remember seeing him. Was he actually?
Yeah, he was out there.
He was? Then,
Yeah, he's manager of the Samoan tag team.
Yeah.
Well, that brings the total up to 12.
That's a big number.
It's so hard to like tell who's out at ringside in this era because like for the Survivor Series matches they all just walk out and like the intros are done kind of poorly. Like I never knew who was like coming out. I think need to get his shit together. These
That's
fucking
probably the most we've had, though, isn't it?
that 12 is definitely the most that we've had.
Yeah.
I was impressed that I could find that Cheesy was dead though.
Yeah, I was going to attempt to see if any of those guys were dead, but I thought, no, fuck that.
He's wrestling in the big squared circle in the sky now.
I hope so. Working with the rest of the boys.
The big square circle or the little square circle?
Yeah, the little people squared circle.
Yeah, nice.
So before we actually talk about the show itself, I wanted to just mention that the poster for this event, I think it's the poster just used in general, but it's on the WWE Network as the little thumbnail, is one of the worst photos of The Undertaker that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like,
Pretty bad.
surely they could have found a better photo of The Undertaker.
Look out for that one on Instagram. That'll be out when after this episode.
He's also like staring off into the distance at 4 cowboys. I assume they're supposed to be like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse or something, but it just looks like a bunch of cowboys.
It's an interesting one.
I like to think the smoking guns are there. The smoking guns and then just 2 other boys that they found.
Bradshaw. Or was he one of the smoking guns?
Was he one of the
Oh no,
smoking
he was the
guns?
new. Sorry, he was the new smoking guns.
Yeah.
The new blackjacks or some shit.
Yeah, he was... I didn't like Bradshaw when he was in the APA, but like that's even worse. Fucking new blackjacks.
Yeehaw.
So the show kicks off with all of the team captains giving their teams pep talks, and it's very 90s and like old school wrestling. We then get an extremely 90s CGI animated intro video, and after that we cut to Gorilla Monsoon and Vince McMahon, who are dressed as cowboys, and it's just so weird seeing Vince on commentary as like just a commentator and not the owner of the WWF. It's just so jarring compared to what he is these days.
Oh, what a maneuver.
What are they wearing as well? It's very impressive.
Everybody who's not wrestling is doing like commentary or backstage, so they're all just cowboy themed. They really went in on being in Texas.
Yeah, they just wanted to make sure everyone knew that if you look at them, it's in Texas.
I don't know if you noticed, but in one of the matches, they're brawling on the outside or whatever, and you get to see the Spanish announce table. My first note, Hugo Savinovich and what's the other guy?
Carlos Cabrera.
Yeah, they're on commentary in 1994, so respect, they had a fucking long-ass run.
Jesus.
My other note was, they even had to be forced to dress up as cowboys. They had the cowboy hats sitting on their monitors and were wearing full cowboy get-ups. I was like... I can just imagine Vince walking around backstage and he spots both of them as like, "Goddamn, pal, where's your cowboy outfit?"
Oh, that's great.
But after they introduce the pay-per-view, we get our first match, which is a Survivor Series match. It's the bad guys, which is Fatu, Razor Ramon, Sione, 1-2-3 Kid, and the British Bulldog, defeating the Teamsters, which is Diesel, Jeff Jarrett, Jim Neidhart, Owen Hart, and Shawn Michaels, via countout in a Survivor Series match. It goes 21 minutes and 45 seconds, and Dave Meltzer gives it 1.5 stars. And we have Razor Ramon being the sole survivor here.
Come on, ref, get him out of there. Shawn Michaels on the other side. Here it goes, a big boot. Oh, no. Oh, no. Michaels just nailed a 7-foot diesel. This is the 3rd time we've seen this happen on television.
Before the match, Fatu is shown sitting on the ground outside putting his boots on, which I thought was really weird, but it kind of makes more sense as the match goes on. The first elimination in the match comes when Diesel jackknifes Fatu after he kind of plays around with his boots a bunch while in the ring. I think the story is that he doesn't like boots, but he's being forced to wear them or something. Like, I don't know, it's kind of dog shit.
Yeah, I didn't really understand it.
Yeah, they only really mention it offhandedly. Like they show him putting like them on for the match, and they don't really mention it. And then when he gets in the ring, he kind of like they're like, oh, the boots are bothering him. He usually wrestles barefoot. I'm like, all right, this is a storyline apparently. And also Fatu, not very fat here.
He looks good.
Like his ass triples in size when he becomes Rikishi. It's commitment to the gimmick.
Would you say that ass was fat PH?
That was fat PH.
No, it's not.
Billy Gunn would appreciate that ass. And next elimination comes when Diesel eliminates 1-2-3 Kid with another jackknife and uses a single foot on his chest for the cover. Diesel then jackknifes Sione and eliminates him as well. British Bulldog then gets counted out, but nobody really realizes it until a little bit after, and commentary has to kind of awkwardly mention it. We then get HBK telling Diesel to hold up Razor Ramon for a switch in music, and he goes for it, but he misses, and he hits his partner instead. This pushes Diesel over the edge, you could kind of see that he was getting fed up with Shawn Michaels during the match. He then turns on their entire team, and he chases HBK to the back, which everybody follows, and this gets everyone counted out in the process. And yeah, we kind of end with Razor Ramon awkwardly celebrating in the ring. What did you guys think of the first match on the card?
I was attempting to watch this pay-per-view a couple of days ago, but I was quite tired, and the first match started, and I thought, there's no fucking way I'm gonna have the energy to get through this. So I held off and watched it yesterday, but coming into this, I thought I'd hate every match on the card, and this first one, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it still wasn't very good. And the finish to the match, it didn't really help. I thought that was pretty bad.
What about you, Nat?
I thought the match was very average, but I thought story-wise, I thought it was really good. I didn't give a shit about Sione and Fatu. who the fuck him? Fucking Jeff Jarrett got a decent spotlight here.
Yeah, he does. He wrestles quite a bit in this match,
and he looks cute here.
Yeah, he's a real babyface Jeff Jarrett here. I wasn't expecting that.
How could you boo him? He's great. And then I liked how Vince told us that he's only in WWF to launch his singing career.
He's the original Elias.
He really is.
Did anyone else think that Fatu reminds them of the Usos?
A little bit, yeah.
They're tights.
The face,
the tights are like the original Usos.
No, just in the face, man. I thought he really looked like one of them. Maybe both of them. I don't know.
I really think... Are
the bad guys the good guys in this?
They are, yeah.
They confuse the shit out of me.
Yeah, heels and faces, that's a dead concept, you know? The bad guys can be the good guys.
No psychology back in 1994.
So, my thoughts on the match, I thought it was really sloppy and disjointed. Almost none of the spots here are that smooth, and the pace of this match is so ridiculously slow at the start. There's so many periods of people just standing around and doing absolutely nothing. And as Nat, I think you mentioned, about the ending's just fucking awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it really, the whole match is basically just about the HBK Diesel story. And I mean, for that, at least it accomplishes something. It's not completely pointless, and it gets the Diesel face turn, who's actually pretty fucking over here, as he's still a heel, and the crowd are loving him. But yeah, I wasn't too big a fan of this match. It happened. I reckon it's probably a bit too long. But yeah, they put over Diesel as a real fucking just absolute beast here. It's it's something they did with Roman Reigns when he had that Survivor Series match and eliminated everyone.
Yeah.
Diesel was the original Roman Reigns.
Ooh, wow.
I got here that the opening sequence that Bulldog and Owen had was by far the best wrestling in this match by an absolute country mile. I don't know if you guys remember it, but all these other big hosses are kind of sloppy and kind of slow, but it was pretty smooth between Owen and Bulldog.
Well, speaking of British Bulldog, I just wanted to mention that he looks fucking disgusting here. Boy,
It's a good accent.
Boy is fucking huge here. I was expecting him to be like the classic British Bulldog, like full ripped, because I thought 1994 he's still kind of in his peak, but no, he was something.
He's so big that he can't fit into his pants anymore.
I feel like more people should wrestle in jeans, that the style of jeans that British Bulldog had when he had his late 90s run. Really,
no,
really?
let's leave that in 99.
Nah, they were underrated look. I think every time a legend comes back for another run, they should be forced to wear that. Kurt Angle, whenever he wrestles now, put him in jean shorts.
Fuck, that would look weird.
Also wanted to mention that Diesel, first of all, is literally too big for the little entrance stage thing that they have, and has to duck down to get through, which I thought was actually kind of cool. And also, why is Diesel's entrance music here literally just truck sounds?
I have that here as well. How bad is that for a theme song?
Like, I knew there was like a truck sound at the start, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're going to play his theme after this. And then it's like it plays a truck sound and then it's silence, and then it's just like,
That's pretty bad.
Just waiting for his good theme.
I was waiting for some music to kick in, and that was just that the whole way in. I think my final notes here are really, again, mentioning Fatu dicking around with his boots is dumb as fuck, and also I hate Fatu.
Why?
Wow.
What do you?
He's not good. This whatever the gimmick he's running here is not great. Give me Rikishi any day.
You're probably right, actually.
I'll take Rikishi's bad man gimmick over this.
I just thought here that the finish, like, Michaels and Diesel getting counted out, that's fine, but counting out the whole team, I thought was kind of shitty. Like, let Michaels and Diesel go to the back, and, like, I mean, why not put Razor over and actually have him just sort of come back and win it from 3-1 down?
Yeah, having Owen and like Jim Neidhart kind of chase after them as well doesn't really make that much sense. Yeah. And like even Owen kind of notices it, like while they're like at the top of the stage, but he still has to go back. And I'm like, I don't know, this just doesn't feel right.
We're gonna lose the match.
Yeah, like he says that, and then like all five, like there's no way all five of them got counted out in that time. Referees take a while. Let's be honest.
They don't. Whoever the referee is here, they're counting, and then like he says to like the timekeeper is like, "Oh, they've been counted out," and then they kind of stand around awkwardly for a while, and then they finally confirm that they've been counted out. I don't know. It's just a very poorly booked ending. Like I like the Shawn Michaels Diesel stuff, but the way that they get there isn't great.
Yeah, I thought it's a great way to put Michaels. Like Michaels and Diesel don't get pinned; they can go to the back and it furthers their storyline. But I mean, you might as well just put Razor over those other guys. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, either of you got some final notes here?
I think that's it.
So we move on here, and we cut backstage to see Shawn leaving the arena while he's being interviewed by a fucking cowboy. He blames everything on Diesel here, and then he speeds off. I didn't catch who this interviewer cat is, so I just referred to him as a cowboy.
Todd Pettengill.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice him, and I'm like, I don't really want to look him up. I'll just refer to him as the cowboy. I would have vastly preferred if it was Doc Hendricks.
Doc Hendricks.
So next we have King, who's making his entrance, but in the middle of this, we see Diesel having a chat on the WWF hotline on a big bright red phone. I'm sure he was giving fans a lot of insight into what was going on in his mind right now. I think they really need to bring these back in 2018. It's not the same as just fucking hitting someone up on Twitter.
I'd call up. I want to hear what Apollo Crews thinks.
The fucking at TLC they cut during fucking someone's entrance to be like, oh, we got Apollo Crews back there on the WWF hotline chatting with fans.
He'd probably just do a flip on the phone.
He'd be like, oh, I did a flip. Is anyone going to cheer for me now?
And he'll be like, and then you'll be like, no, because it's a phone.
It's like, did you hear me do the flip? And he'd be like, no. No, it's just a flip. What would there be here?
Oh, Apollo, FaceTime me.
So yeah. Next up, we get the Royal Family, which is Jerry Lawler, Cheesy, Queasy, and Sleazy, defeating Clowns Are Us, which is Doink the Clown, Dink, Pink, and Wink. They get the victory via pinfall in a Survivor Series match, which goes 16 minutes and 5 seconds, and Dave Meltzer gives it minus 2.5 stars. And the survivors here are the entire Royal Family.
And Dink going up to the top rope. Imagine that. Everybody press, that'll do it. Wait a minute, Jerry the King. Did you see the stop Lawler? Lawler was going to come in and pummel Dink. Oh, come on. No, not this way, no.
So as for the match here, we see Lawler eliminating Doink by reversing a pinfall attempt and grabbing the tights. This is kind of botched and real sloppy here. And due to the stipulations, Lawler isn't allowed to wrestle the small Doinks, so we have to watch these idiots actually try to wrestle. And we then see Queasy pin Wink, thanks to assistance from Lawler. Cheesy then pins Pink after a Lawler-assisted splash. And then once they're eliminated, the clowns go and hide under the ring, which I just assumed that they're going to Little People's Court here. They're going to sue King for getting involved with them, despite the stipulation saying he couldn't put his hands on him. We then see Sleazy reverse a pin attempt to eliminate Dink. And then after the match, because 16 minutes weren't enough for this, we get King jumping on the mic and he's berating his teammates for celebrating. He says that he was the entire reason they won and they shouldn't be celebrating. He then tells them to kiss his royal feet, but they defy him and King ends up kicking them out of the ring. They then start celebrating outside of the ring, so King chases them. But then we get Dink, Pink, and Wink coming out from under the ring and they all chase after him. This leads to King running up the ramp, but Doink runs out and pies him in the face. What did you guys think about this? I mean, it's a bit of a stretch to call it a match, but I guess it's a match, technically.
One of my notes is literally nope. That's a note that I wrote down. Just sitting there watching this and like, nope, I don't want to watch this shit. But yeah, I don't know why this had to be on the match, on the card, and I don't know why it had to be. Well, you said 16 minutes, but then the promo afterwards as well. Jesus, just yeah, not great.
I feel like this literally should have just been Doink and King wrestling. Like,
you could have had Sleazy, Queasy, and Cheesy all get involved. Anyway, if it was just a one-on-one match, they didn't have to have them in the match. Yeah,
like just have the match up until the point where Doink loses, and you can still do your fucking after-match shenanigans, but it would have been so much easier to watch if it didn't go for an entire 16 minutes. Nat, what did you think? I'm sure you love this one.
This is why we have this podcast. This is the holy fucking grail. Was it every bit that you expected?
I mean, I thought it was. I mean, I don't know how to explain, because it wasn't good, but it was kind of good. In the fact that it was terrible, so I don't know. It's confusing.
It went way too long. Let's be real.
Oh, that's for sure.
Like if this was like 5 minutes or something, this would be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, one of my points here was, why the fuck does this go for 16 minutes? It literally goes longer than the main event. And I'm not saying I wanted the main event to go longer, because I definitely didn't, but you know, you're kind of fucked up when your comedy match goes longer than your main event.
That's very true.
Yeah, my notes for this match was that I fucking hate this match. This honestly might be one of the worst things I've ever watched, and it's really no wonder that nobody was watching the WWF at this point, because
take that
this
back.
is the shizzling trits. That said, I'd still watch this over that New Age Outlaws match from Rock Bottom 98.
There we go.
I mean, this had some, like, legitimately funny moments and some moments that were so dumb that they were funny. So at least it had that going for it. But yeah, this is fucking brutal. At least the crowd kind of really pops for Doink. That's something.
They were actually kind of into it.
They were, which kind of makes me sad.
It's fucked up. Like, who hurt them?
Maybe they were really, like, starved of good entertainment down in San Antonio at this period of time. So, like, fuck it. This is enjoyable to me.
Fuck, God save their souls if they enjoyed this.
Does anyone know if Burger King got any was that an endorsement deal that they had going on? Are they paying for this exposure or?
I have no idea.
If they at some point, maybe they didn't on this night, but at some point during this feud, or when they were referring to like King as the Burger King, if they didn't like, get their marketing team to get onto Burger King for a partnership, they seriously fucked up. Because
they literally use one of.
Otherwise, it's literally just free advertising for Burger King for no reason.
Yeah, they used one of their crowns, like the actual Burger King.
Yeah, from the kids' crown.
People in the crowd were wearing them.
Yeah.
And King says it at the end, don't chant Burger King.
That's classic heel maneuver. Tell the crowd not to chant it, so they will chant it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Don't you eat this pie.
I've also got here that I wonder what year Cheesy, Sleazy, and Queasy go into the Hall of Fame.
Do you reckon they go into? Do you reckon they go in together and as individuals, kind of Ric Flair style?
2-time Hall of Famer Sleazy. I'd be into that.
I mean, it'd just be disrespectful if they didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
They'll have to headline though.
Yep, definitely.
I think I need to point out here, and I think it might have been Cheesy, but one of the Little Kings is so fucking hairy. He's genuinely the hairiest man I've ever seen in my life. Is it Sleazy?
Sleazy, that's why he's hairy and he's sleazy.
Whew, homeboy is a hairy motherfucker. He has a fucking rug, a fur rug over his entire body.
Yeah,
Good
it's
Lord.
bit of a Sasquatch kind of vibe.
Speaking of looks, I wanted to know, why does one of the royal family look like Jack Black from Nacho Libre?
They shrunk him down.
It literally is the spitting image, and I assume that's why Jack Black looked like that in that movie.
I hope so.
Also, the midget humour in this is fucking awful. Give me the oddities over this tag match any day. And then,
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then finally, I wanted to know, and please correct me if I'm wrong in my logic here, but how does this match end? So let's say hypothetically, we had Jerry Lawler eliminate Doink, and then Dink, Pink, and Wink eliminate all of Cheesy, Queasy, and Sleazy. How does this match end if Lawler isn't allowed to wrestle them?
There is that's great logic, to be honest. I don't think obviously no one really thought about that. I had one of these. One of my notes was, "Hey King, they're real little man. Just kick one of them." So I didn't know about that stipulation where he wasn't allowed to fight the small dudes. So yeah, I wasn't thinking about that during the match, but it's a good point.
Yeah, I had 16 minutes to really just think about literally anything other than what was going on in the ring. So that's where my mind wandered to.
Usually during a match that I don't like, I'll might get on the phone or something and check Twitter or something like that. But I actually watched this entire match. I sat down there and watched the whole thing. I'm pretty proud of myself for that.
That is a fair effort. I think I did watch the whole match here. There's a match coming up that I didn't pay attention to every second of it as closely as I did this.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But yeah, do either of you have any final notes about fucking Chinky, Dinky, and Winky doing the job for Sneezy and Parcheesy?
No, I'm good.
I can't wait to watch it again.
This is going to be my Survivor Series tradition now. Every year on Survivor Series Eve,
It better be.
Crack it out on the network and just relive whatever the fuck that was. So after the match is fucking, thank God, over, we go backstage to the stupid fucking cowboy interviewer who is informing us that there's a new WWF Women's Champion from a match that took place in the Tokyo Dome. It was between Bull Nakano and Alundra Blaze. I was going to call her Medusa, but she's Alundra Blaze at this period in time. Bull Nakano was the winner, and Old Mate interviews her, and Bull Nakano just speaks Japanese, and then Old Mate speaks really slow in response, and this is just completely awful. I just wanted to mention, I don't know if I only mentioned it to you, Pricey, and I can't remember if I mentioned it to Nat, but Bull Nakano won the belt at that show I was telling you about that Meltzer went to, that went for like 10 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, and I mean, according to Meltzer, what he wrote in the newsletter at the time of that happening, he said it was like the best show he'd like ever seen. But 10 hours is ridiculous for wrestling. I struggle to get through Wrestle Kingdom and WrestleMania. Like, 10 hours, I'm going to need a nap.
What was the point of this interview?
I think literally just to be like, hey guys, first of all, remember, we have a women's division. Second of all, the belt changed hands. It might not have been in our promotion or even in the country where we're from, but it changed hands.
And also, they speak Japanese and we don't.
So you have to speak really slowly.
That was painful.
I mean, if she doesn't speak English, she's not going to understand if you speak it slower.
Yeah. Thank God they don't do that for like Nakamura and Asuka and all the Japanese people we have now.
They actually go out there and force Asuka to speak English.
Yeah.
It's like at least they've changed from whatever the hell this was with fucking Cowboy Bob Orton on the mic. So next up, we get one of our main event matches here, which is Bob Backlund defeating Bret Hart via submission to win the WWF Championship in 35 minutes and 11 seconds. No, that is not a typo. That match actually went over half an hour. And Meltzer seemed to kind of enjoy it. He gave it 2 stars.
Bret Hart against all odds is somehow hanging on. Owen Hart standing by with his mom and dad, watching Bret suffer in this hole. She threw the towel in. She threw the towel in.
So in the match, we see Owen Hart, who's in Bob Backlund's corner, taking literally any chance he can to interfere in the match. Despite British Bulldog's best efforts to stop him, at one point, British Bulldog chases after Owen and he kind of like slams him headfirst into the steps, which knocks him out. This then distracts Bret, who ends up getting locked into the crossface chicken wing, and Owen Hart actually seems like he's showing remorse for what he's done here. He kind of realizes what he's done, and then he goes over to his mum and dad, who are at ringside, and starts begging them to do something. Eventually, he brings his parents actually to the ring, and Helen Hart eventually grabs the towel and throws it in after Bret has spent an entire 8 minutes in the crossface chicken wing. Owen then, after that, runs away, revealing that it was just a prank, bro.
Mom, he's gonna break his arm.
That's my brother in there. If he said that one more time, man, I was gonna cancel my network subscription. That's my brother in there.
No shit, that's their son.
What did you guys think of this fucking marathon match?
15 to 20 minutes too long, probably. I don't know. Bret being in the chicken wing for that long, it was unnecessary. And I couldn't care less. I'm sorry, but I mean, as over as Bret is, this match was just not great.
What about you, Nat?
It has to be the longest, most boring match there has ever been.
Yeah, I don't think there would ever have been a more boring match that goes over 30 minutes. Generally, like, matches that go 30 minutes for a reason. And, like, I personally, I don't think I've ever seen a match that even comes close to being this boring that's gone that long.
Yeah, and it just... why? I just hate that it was a submission match. Like, fuck.
It's just, yeah, like, the whole match is literally them trying to put submissions onto each other.
It sucks.
Brandon, you and I, the most recent match I can remember that was really long was the Omega Okada match that we watched. I'm guessing that went pretty long, didn't it?
Are you talking about the one where he finally won the belt?
Yeah.
That was over an hour.
And that was so much better than this. Like, an hour, and that probably didn't feel like an hour, I'm guessing, from memory. Watching it.
I feel like that was like maybe 70 minutes. And the one before when they had the draw was 60 minutes on the dot. And then the one before that was fucking ages as well.
It was like 45 or something. So this the fact that this is shorter than all of them, and it sucked ass, and it was that much worse, it just tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, like, I think those, like, Omega Okada matches, they're still pretty long to sit through, and you kind of do recognise how long they're going for. But fuck, I would choose any day to sit through that, like, a million times over sitting through this again. It's just, you feel every single second of that 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, my only note, really, on the quality of the match was, this is the wrestling equivalent of watching paint dry. It's just no good.
You'd rather watch paint grow? Is that what you said?
I would rather do fucking literally anything other than this. I would literally watch paint grow. I would go to the paint factory where they make the paint and watch them make the paint, then apply it on a wall before I watch this again.
I just don't see where he got the 2 stars from.
I know, like, this really doesn't seem like a match Meltzer would like at all, and he just gave it 2. Maybe he gave it 2 because he likes Bret.
One of you spoke about it before, but did Vince do this just so he could say, "Oh, George Foreman won the world title at this age. Well, we had someone do it as well." Is that the only reason he did it?
Honestly, like, it's either that or he was really, like, he just really wanted to protect Bret and didn't want Diesel to beat him for the title.
Yeah.
Like, I can imagine, like, he's like, oh, I really like Bret. Bret's obviously, like, the future of the company. I don't want him to job out to Diesel. And then on the other hand, he's like, but Diesel's really hot right now. I want him to be champion. He's like, oh, well, just fucking slap it on somebody that doesn't matter if they just get squashed real quickly.
I mean, that could make sense, because then it's sort of, you know, Owen and Bret can have their storylines separate to the world title. It sort of makes sense, I guess, but, I mean, still, it doesn't make the match any better.
You know what would have been a way better Survivor Series? Take HBK and Diesel out of the tag match. Throw in whoever the fuck you want to replace them. Make this Bret Hart versus Diesel versus HBK and play it up. Be like, oh, there's literally no way that HBK doesn't walk out of Survivor Series as champion because you got Diesel there. And then have Diesel turn on him there, win the belt. Pin Shawn for it.
Yeah, then Bret never loses it. Makes sense.
Anything other than putting Bob Backlund in a match.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bob Backlund, I'm sure he's great. I'm sure, you know, back in the day he was phenomenal to watch, but Marty Scurll has the best crossface chicken wing of all time. Fact.
I think until this match, Marty Scurll was the only person I'd ever seen actually use the crossface chicken wing.
I think I'd heard of Bob Backlund using it, but yeah, Marty's the only one I've ever seen, like, in my time, use it.
I kind of had a lot of free time during this match, and it kind of just occurred to me that, like, Bob Backlund he's basically a comedy character here. Like, no one really taking him seriously. I feel like this is the equivalent if right now in the WWE they had Drake Maverick win the fucking Universal Championship from Brock Lesnar. Like, because we know Drake Maverick is like, he can wrestle and he's like an actual dude, but he's got a fucking piss your pants gimmick right now. So it's just like if they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have Drake Maverick face Brock, and then Drake Maverick just wins somehow.
I'd be into that.
Would you be into that if Drake Maverick wins it, but then Drew McIntyre beats him for the belt at a house show 2 days later?
Yeah, actually, I would be alright with that. I don't like Brock, so that works for me.
There's not enough house show title changes anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
My other notes here were that the crowd really loves Bret Hart. I was surprised at how big of a pop he got. And also Backlund doesn't even get music to play over his win, which was just the icing on the cake for this fucking garbage match. But I alluded to this earlier. I just want to say that these are the things that I did during this match instead of sitting down and really focusing on just a couple of white boys locking in submission holds. I made some peanut butter toast. I looked up a list of TLC matches because I was kind of prepping for our TLC poll that's coming up, and that led me to looking at the Full Metal Mayhem match in TNA, which is a TLC match, but also anything metal is legal.
Nice.
And then, yeah, I also found out, thanks to you, Pricey, that Big Cass had a seizure.
That was the thing that happened. Hopefully he's okay.
I did all of those things in that 35 minutes, and it really didn't help the time go by that much quicker. So do either of you have any final notes on this awful championship match?
No, I think that's about it.
Yeah, this has to be one of the worst WWE Championship matches of all time. If there wasn't the Hulk Hogan Yokozuna match.
Like, considering that Bret Hart is in there, it's one of the worst. Because you'd assume that even if he's in there with someone dog shit, he can drag out a half-decent match. But not here. Like, you're expecting Hogan and Yokozuna to be shit. Or, like, when Great Khali was champion and he's being forced to wrestle Kane, like...
Yeah.
Those matches aren't going to be good, but here, like, surely Bret's going to be okay. I feel like this kind of match is what happened back in Bob Backlund's era, and if so, I'm grateful I didn't grow up then. I don't want to go to no bingo hall to watch Ric Flair and Pat Patterson put each other in rest holds for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I prefer our flippy stuff that we get today.
Yeah.
Fuck the psychology off. Shut up your ass. So moving on here, we go backstage to the Cowboy Man again, and this time he's interviewing Owen Hart. And Owen confirms that he set all of that up and he calls Bret a quitter. And Owen just really kind of rambles here. It's not really a great promo. He doesn't say that Bret Hart was his brother, though, so... -5 stars for the promo. We get our final Survivor Series match here, which is the $1 Million Team made up of Bam Bam Bigelow, Jimmy Del Rey, King Kong Bundy, Tatanka, and Tom Pritchard, defeating Guts and Glory, which is Adam Bomb, Bart and Billy Gunn, Lex Luger, and Mabel via pinfall in a Survivor Series match. It goes 23 minutes and 21 seconds, and Meltzer gives it 2.5 stars.
Toad on the hotline now, by the way, Chuck Norris, ladies and gentlemen, whom you will see. Yes, the Texas. 1, 2, yes. Lex Luger has done the impossible. Oh, wait a minute, no. Oh, no. 1, 2. Oh, no.
And I forgot to write down the survivors here. Do you guys remember who survived this match?
It was... who won? It was King Kong Bundy and Bam Bam Bigelow, wasn't it?
I think so from memory, yeah. Jimmy Del Rey definitely wasn't standing tall at the end.
No, he was out.
So this match is refereed by Mike Chioda with a mullet, which I was impressed by. Firstly, that Mike Chioda was in the WWF in 1994, and also by his glorious mullet. The eliminations start pretty early with Mabel eliminating Tom Pritchard after a second rope crossbody. Mabel then gets counted out extremely randomly, and just like British Bulldog's count out earlier, it just sort of happens under the radar and no one seems to notice. Bam Bam hits a moonsault on Adam Bomb to eliminate him. Lex Luger would eliminate Jimmy Del Rey with a flying forearm clothesline thing. Bart Gunn would do a monkey flip to Tatanka, and I was like really taken aback by this. Tatanka is lucky to not snap his ankle or ACL here. He lands like real fucked up. Did either of you take notice of this?
I don't think so.
I did.
Yeah, he takes the monkey flip, and that's the way he lands. I'm like, fuck, Tatanka has just shredded his knee, and then he just gets up and it's fine. It's like, fuck, tough SOB. So after that, Tatanka hits his finish. It's some sort of Samoan drop variation thing to eliminate Bart Gunn. King Kong Bundy eliminates Billy Gunn with a splash. Luger would pin Tatanka with a small package, but then King Kong Bundy would hit a splash on Luger to get the win. After the match, they beat down Luger some more, but the rest of Guts and Glory come out to even the score. What did you guys think of the match?
Well, I just had a look at the times between this Survivor Series match and the first one, the opener, and this one's a bit longer, and I thought it was a lot worse, personally. Yeah, I was sort of bored during this one. It probably didn't help that I was probably put to sleep by the match before it, but at this point of the show, I was sort of just waiting for it to end, to be honest.
What were your thoughts on the match, Nat?
Well, on both sides, there's people who I do not give a shit about Jimmy Del Rey and Tom Pritchard, obviously. Sorry, Sorry to the doc.
Are you telling me you don't care about the gigolo, Jimmy Del Rey?
I
Speechless.
Nope.
fuck. I don't give a fuck about Adam Bomb. I don't give a fuck about Bart Gunn. Billy Gunn sucks here, and I don't mind Mabel. So pretty much for me, this is just me having a sticky sesh about Lex Luger.
Oh man, I can't believe you would say that about Lex Luger. Lex Luger fucking disgusts me, and he is way too oily. No man, woman, beast should be that oily. He's just glistening.
It's hard to grapple him if he's oily. He's a smart man.
That should be
exactly
unfair.
right.
Like, referee should have to wipe him down with a towel. While we're speaking of people that disgust me, King Kong Bundy also disgusts me.
Oh, I got a thought on him.
Please tell me.
You reckon he looks like a thumb?
He does. Dude is just built weirdly, wearing his weird fucking Bull Dempsey-esque attire.
Yeah. No one can do it like Bull does, you know?
King Kong Bundy main evented WrestleMania.
It's impressive.
Wrestling sucked back then, man. My thoughts on the match. This is a very meh match. It's just middle of the road, and it's not as awful as some of the shit that's come before it on the card. But I mean, it's not a very high bar to clear. So I like Bam Bam Bigelow, and that's about it from this match. Like everybody else, I really don't care about. So I got to see Bam Bam do flippy shit, and that popped me.
Why isn't Bam Bam in the Hall of Fame?
Is he not in the Hall of Fame?
I thought he was.
I don't think he is. I think I had a look at him. Well, I mean, isn't Homeboy that he wrestled in that main event the football dude? Isn't he in it?
LT, Lawrence Taylor.
Is he in the Hall of Fame, or is it a different one?
I think Lawrence Taylor is in the celebrity wing, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean, surely Bam Bam's got to go in at some point if he's not in already.
Let me have a look here. See if he's in the Hall of Fame. He won a Slammy Award for Best Head in 1987.
Jeez.
Let me see. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
that does seem like a bit of an oversight. Like, how is he not in the Hall of Fame? I would literally just assumed he'd be in the Hall of Fame.
Doesn't make sense to me, but I mean, hopefully he goes in. I think he deserves it.
There's a little news report from March 21 of this year. There's a good reason Bam Bam Bigelow isn't in this year's WWE Hall of Fame class. Apparently he was rumoured to be inducted this year.
Oh, really?
They really need to report the fucking news at the start. That's journalism 101. I'm having to scroll fucking 3/4 of the way down.
You have to show them how to do their job.
Apparently, WWE's reasoning behind not inducting him in this year's class is a matter of location instead of timing.
I'm sorry?
Apparently, because Mania 35 is at MetLife next year, they decided to hold Bigelow back a year because he's from New Jersey.
Ah.
So if this is to be trusted, he could be going in the Hall of Fame next year.
Nice.
If he's not, I'm going to be upset.
Fun fact, Nia Jax's favourite wrestler is Bam Bam Bigelow.
Her favorite current day wrestler? Or?
Yeah.
Good for her.
Alright, my final note before we move on here is who the hell is Oscar?
Holy shit. Word for word, exactly what my first note is. That's crazy.
He just comes out and I'm like, who is this dude? And then on the back of his thing it said Oscar. I'm like, Oscar, who are you?
I mean, my last note is 1, 2, and no. That's just Vince every fucking pinfall. Why? Come on, you know.
All the time where he thinks the match ended and then he's like, oh no, he kicked out. Yes, he did, Vince.
He's a nutter.
But yeah, final thoughts on this match?
Not great.
I mean, not great, but better than probably everything else of it. This is probably the best match on the card at this point, so that's depressing.
Yeah, isn't it?
After the match, our cowboy friend has an interview with Bob Backlund. Backlund says he's been champion since 1978, and this promo is just fucking batshit insane and just completely off the wall. I didn't even know how to accurately sum it up here. Like, literally, just go watch it on the network. Homeboy has lost his fucking mind, screaming about like he's gonna change society or something. I don't know. I can never tell if like, this is a work or not with Bob Backlund.
But he was like going nuts. Like I wrote here, like he was screaming, going nuts to start the promo, and then he went like creepy quiet, and then just finished off with like shouting again. And it was not. It's not good. Like sometimes you can sort of change your tone in a promo and it works. This is the complete opposite. It doesn't work at all.
I think Bob Backlund really lives the gimmick. Like he shoot fucking like crazy as fuck. Because I read a story. This was around the time, you know, when Hulk Hogan was pretending that he was going to run for president?
Yes, it is, yes.
Yeah, so Bob Backlund, he parodied that and said he was going to do it. He showed up at an ECW show in, this is like late 90s, and he was like chatting backstage with people he knew, and then in the middle of the show, he went out in the crowd and was like fucking, like, full just distracted the entire crowd. And the security had to kick him out. So, I can never tell if it's a work or a shoot with Bob Backlund.
You just never know.
He was going to make Darren Young great again. And now, did Darren Young get released?
Yeah, I'm still
trying to figure out when Darren Young was great for the first time.
Hey, he was great in the Nexus.
Fuck the Nexus.
Well, moving on, we have a special segment next, and it's going to be introduced by a man we mentioned earlier. I'm speaking of Doc Hendricks.
It's now time for Doc Hendricks's. Fuck, I fucked that up already. I didn't write my Doc Hendricks line. Can you?
It's live, pal.
Sorry. It's now time for Nat's Teamster Taker Trivia. Now, the score is Pricey on 4, Brandon on 1. But, you guys, we've got another sponsor this week.
Do we?
Wow.
This week's trivia is sponsored by Jetty Surf. Brody, would you like to tell us a little bit about Jetty Surf?
Yeah, I mean, Christmas time. You know, you're always looking for gifts and whatnot for your family. So if anyone wants to get into my store, obviously I'm as Brandon mentioned on Twitter, I've just got promoted to manager of my store. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, big round of applause for Brody Price. Just manager at Jetty Surf. I never thought you would be there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, neither did I. It's been a long road, but if anyone wants to come in, I've got me 40% family and friend discount, so come in and I'll hook you up.
Any ladies out there looking to hang 10 on the waves, get real radical this year? You might want some new board shorts, maybe a pair of I'm blanking, but the real douchey sunglasses with the big white frames, and the reflective lenses. Get those. Bit of a surfboard wax.
Worthingtons.
Yeah, one of those.
Plenty of Roxy gear, you know.
Nice. These references just going straight over Americans' heads.
Hey, well, follow us all on Twitter and you'll understand the references.
That's it.
It's 2018.
Alright.
We work the people everywhere.
All right, are we ready? Did you guys practice during the week?
Oh man, I've been doing sit-ups, chin-ups.
See, that's the way
to bounce back.
Real brain training. All right, question 1. Are we ready?
Yep.
When was King Kong Bunny's last pay-per-view appearance before this?
Royal Rumble, 94.
I'm going to say the 92 Royal Rumble.
You're both way off, so I don't think I'm going to give any points there. Survivor Series 1987.
Really?
What? Excuse you?
I don't know if that's true, but I saw it written down.
7 years in the making.
Well, I don't think he appears in those middle ones at all.
Good for him.
Try and think about it and maybe follow on that later on. I don't know.
Tweet at Nath Marlow if he's got his questions wrong.
Tweet at Nath Marlow if you think he's wrong, and tweet at Pricey if you're looking for that friends and family discount. 40%. Get those stocking stuffers. Christmas is hard.
All right. Question 2. First in question. This is the first Survivor Series that does not feature which wrestler?
Hulk Hogan? No.
I'm assuming that's wrong. Oh, okay. I'm assuming that's wrong.
So, Brandon, you get a guess?
Featuring which wrestler? Jeez. Oh, now I'm blanking on old school wrestlers because I was going to say Hogan.
I have a second wrestler in mind, but I don't know.
Oh, I'm thinking of one guy, but I reckon it's probably not right. No, I'm just going to go. I'm going to say Andre the Giant.
You're both wrong. It is Macho Man Randy Savage.
Wow, I wouldn't have picked Macho Man. I would have thought he would have missed an early one or something.
Okay, so question 3. What was Lex Luger and Davey Boy Smith's tag team name?
The Allied Powers.
Nice.
I read that, so...
Oh, nice.
I told you I've been doing my practice.
Someone's got 1 on the board.
Oh, nice.
All right, so question 4. Are we ready? Yep. I feel like this is a Brody question. This one's for you.
A Brody question.
Bro.
Wow.
All right. First in, obviously, Adam Bomb went on to form what WCW tag team?
Chronic.
Brandon's correct.
Why was that my question?
I feel like you're a Chronic mark.
I feel like Pricey wouldn't get that. Chronic appeared in WWE for 2 weeks. They wrestled the Brothers of Destruction and fucked off.
Yeah, I feel like Chronic was this Brody's thing, though.
I'm a massive WWE guy, so no.
I literally only got that because in the middle of that match, I'm like, Adam Bomb, like, did he have a different gimmick in WCW that was sick or something? And then I looked at it, I'm like, oh no, it was just Chronic. The K at the end was capitalized.
That's pretty cool.
I have no idea. Question 5. How many wrestlers and managers on this show appeared on WWE TV in 2018?
It's your go-to question, this one.
What?
I'm going to say, there's a lot of dead people, so I'll say 6.
I've counted 6 that I reckon are definites. Ooh. I'm going to say 7.
Brandon's closer. It's 10.
Damn.
Ooh, did you write down which ones this week?
No, I did not.
Well, I'll just say I missed out on Razor Ramon. I didn't think of Razor Ramon, but I assume him. Did Rikishi appear?
I can tell you Kevin Nash was not one of them.
Oh, I assumed it was Kevin Nash.
Because he was supposed to be at Raw 25, but he had the quad surgery.
I thought you were going to say he was in jail again.
And Bob Backlund, obviously, he was released in November last year, so he didn't.
Oh, I counted him as well.
All right, question 6. Brandon's got a good lead here, 3-0. Brody, let's hope you can get this one. It's you probably won't, though.
Cool.
But that's okay. You got a nice lead in the overall score.
You can take a few weeks off.
I'm just sitting
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So question 6. Can you name every wrestler that was male in the original main event Mafia from 2008 to 2009?
What has this got to do with Survivor Series?
Because Kevin Nash is in it. I was fucking struggling for questions, so...
Well, it's
everyone in the main event Mafia.
It's Nash, Steiner, Angle, Sting,
Booker T.
Samoa Joe, Booker T. Is that not main event Mafia?
I reckon that's spot on.
Is that your final answer?
That's
final
answer.
You're both wrong.
Who else was it? Was AJ Styles added in there randomly? He felt like
Christian Cage for a whole week.
I thought he feuded with Booker T around then.
He must have done the swerve ski.
I didn't think Christian was still in TNA back then. I don't remember ever seeing Christian in TNA, and I was watching it.
So we're going to take a little sidebar here. Since this was the big launching point for Kevin Nash. Did you know the main event Mafia combined held over 61 tag titles?
61 tag titles.
Yeah, that's 17 WWE, 30 WCW, 11 TNA, and 3 ECW. So, is this like getting you guys sticky?
Just real tag boys.
I literally looked this all up because it was very hard to find questions this week.
I mean, you sent us something about the main event Mafia holding championships.
They held in total over 161 titles.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's 46 secondary titles, nothing of note there. There's 9 US titles.
I'm looking at the text you sent us. It says they've held they've held over this many championships in these promotions, and you had UFC in there.
Oh, well, the second incarnation of the main event Mafia.
Tito Ortiz.
Rampage Jackson was in it.
But Tito Ortiz wasn't in that?
No, he was not. It was Joe Angle, Sting, Rampage Jackson, and the current NWA champion, Nick Aldis.
Wow.
Magnus.
What?
Yep.
No, I don't believe that.
So
You're telling fibs.
in total they've held 54 world titles. That's we'll go from the least. There's Kurt Angle held the IWGP title. Rampage Jackson obviously a UFC title. Samoa Joe held 2 NXT titles. There's 4 ECW titles in there. 6 NWA, 18 WCW, 12 TNA, and then there's about 10 WWE World Heavyweight. So I thought that was really good because fucking need something to spice up this.
Yeah, I mean, if we were covering a TNA pay-per-view, that question would have been perfect.
Nah, but it had Kevin Nash, so
yeah, it all ties in.
That's exactly right. This segment's putting me to sleep.
It's putting him to sleep again, Pricey.
Jesus, must be good.
All right, question 7. Only one title was defended at Survivor Series 1993, the year before. What was it?
Intercontinental.
Tag belts. I have no idea.
Incorrect. Pricey's almost correct. It's the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Championships.
That's what I meant. When I say tag belts, I meant the Smoky Mountain tag belts.
I know he always means that when he says tag belts.
If I said,
You know what? I'm giving you the point. I think he said tag belt. That's good.
yeah, we want this to go down to the wire again.
That's exactly right. It's not rigged. Okay. Question 8. Who has Bob Backlund managed?
Darren Young.
Yeah, has he managed anyone other than Darren Young?
Yes.
Owen Hart?
Owen.
I'm trying to think.
I mean, you could put Owen, but I didn't.
I honestly don't know.
Heath Slater.
No.
No,
I don't think you'll get it, but...
I don't think we will either.
Well, I've seen a pay-per-view that he did this on. He managed the Sultan, which is Rikishi.
That's unfortunate.
He was also managed by the Iron Sheik at the same time.
Oh, Sheiky baby.
And for a brief stint, he managed Kurt Angle in 2000.
Shit.
And then he taught the chicken wing to Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle used it on him.
That's a who's who of wrestling.
That's exactly right. This is a good question. Oof. So, Price, you need to get the next 2 to go to a tiebreaker.
Right.
So, good luck with this one.
Right.
We'll go with the closest answer wins for this one.
Cool.
How many seasons of Walker Texas Ranger are there?
17.
Geez, there'd be a few I would have thought. How many brands say? Say 17.
17.
Do I go under or do I go over?
I mean, if you're Triple H, you'd always go over.
Yeah, that's what I said. 18.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yes.
It's 8.
Yeah.
I thought that show ran for ages, man.
No, they just kept running the reruns on Fox 8.
But I thought there was like a big thing for like Walker Texas Ranger went like over a decade or something.
I have to give you the points, Brent, because I did say closest.
Yeah, I'm the best.
You're a cheater.
Hey, the answer might not have been over, but Brandon sure is. Hey.
Alright, question 10. Yokozuna's last match happens at Survivor Series 1996 in a 4-on-4 elimination match. Can you guess who his opponents were? It's a fucking hodgepodge, so...
This is a thing I've seen before, but
Just think about the time.
You say it 96?
Yeah.
Earthquake. And
It's gonna be 3 hours.
IRS. Honky Tonk Man.
No, it's just straight up DX. All of them. Every DX dude. All of them.
It's not even like full DX at this time. It's not even DX.
Yeah, there's a precursor though. They
Yeah,
all
Rick
came
Rude.
together. Yeah. Lock it in.
Lock it in, Eddie.
What was your fourth answer?
I'm fucking Miss Kitty.
Ah, fuck yeah. You don't want to give a proper answer?
No, I don't. I'm not going to get this right.
You fucking cunts. Fake Razor, fake Diesel, Frug, and Vader.
I mean, how's it gonna get any of that?
Think about the time.
It's Vader time.
It's fake Diesel and Razor time.
That was
Well,
another
that's-
great addition, that.
That's the end. You guys fucking suck because you don't take it serious. So that's the end of my fucking trivia.
I couldn't win it at the end, so I gave up.
Don't make me disconnect.
He's a quitter like of that fucking Bret Hart.
You're a quitter, Bret.
He's my brother. Oh well, I'm just the trivia champion for this week. You couldn't have all the glory, Pricey. You got promoted to fucking manager of Jetty Surf High Point, so
Yeah, I didn't want to take all the glory.
save some glory for the rest of us.
I'm gonna let you
Save some guts for the rest of us.
Hey.
Well, moving on to the main event, we see The Undertaker defeat Yokozuna in a casket match. It goes 15 minutes and 24 seconds, and Dave Meltzer gives it 2.5 stars, which I think that's tied for the best match on the card from Meltzer's point of view.
The Undertaker now in a boot. Oh, wait a minute. Yokozuna casket. Oh, look at this. Into the casket as well. Oh, my goodness.
And so Chuck Norris here gets a huge pop, because I'm assuming he's a Texas native. And then The Undertaker comes out, and he's rocking a floppy hat and purple gardening gloves here, which is one of his great looks. He wears a nice big purple tie as well, but Paul Bearer undresses him before the match, so he doesn't wrestle with that on, unfortunately. So Yokozuna falls on his ass scared because Taker does his little, rest in peace taunt. Later on in the match, we have King Kong Bundy trying to interfere, but the intense glare of Chuck Norris stops him in his tracks. Bam Bam Bigelow comes out to join him, but again, Chuck Norris's intense stare stops him. But while he's distracted with this, IRS runs in and attacks The Undertaker. He puts on a sleeper hold, then throws Taker into the casket. Yokozuna attempts to close the casket, but Taker then grabs him. Jeff Jarrett comes out, but Chuck Norris just kicks him. Undertaker gives Yokozuna a bogo boot, and Yokozuna kind of rolls into the casket. Taker then grabs the Japanese flag, snaps it, throws it into the casket, and then shuts the lid. So even when he was full-on dead man, Undertaker still really was just very patriotic, fuck the Japanese flag.
No matter what, he's still got that American badass in him.
If this Undertaker went over to Iraq, he would have stopped the war single-handedly.
Exactly right. God
tell him,
bless
Taz.
America.
So what did you think of the main event here?
I have 2 notes. The first is I hate a big hoss fight, so I'm going to hate this. And the last note is that's one of the casket matches that I've seen. So I don't lie. I wouldn't lie about that.
What about you, Nat?
I didn't hate it, if I'm honest. Meltzer kind of agreed with me. I thought fucking Undertaker looked stupid. Chuck Norris really should have fucking done more, let's be real. He did look like a fucking badass. But he didn't look like such a badass that there was 18 seasons of Walk the Texas Ranger.
They should have went for an extra decade.
But once again, Jeff Jarrett just gets the spotlight.
Don't piss me off.
Like, to fucking trust him with Chuck Norris, pretty good.
I mean, I feel like Chuck Norris should have done something more than just one kick. I guess they didn't want to, like, bury too many of their superstars, so... In that sense, it makes, like, a lot of sense, but... I don't know, I wanted him to do something cool. It's like in The Simpsons when the Yakuza fight the Mafia. It's like, he's going to do something cool, but then the show ends before he gets to do something cool. I want him to do, like, a fucking spin kick. Nathan Jones style.
I was expecting that. I was expecting a spin kick out of Chuck Norris.
Instead, he kind of just, like, super kicks him in the fucking... In the lower midsection.
Yeah.
I mean, Nathan Jones versus Chuck Norris... That would have been good.
That's a true Hoss fight that I'd pay to see. My thoughts on the match. This is probably my favourite match on the card. At the very least, it was the one that entertained me the most. That is not saying much, though, because I really don't like any match on this card that much. Even this one. It's just whatever. It's a casket match that occurred. I feel like the casket match, similar to our discussion we had about Buried Alive matches last week, I just don't think there's really a good way to do a casket match. I don't think I've ever seen one that I've enjoyed. Now, to be fair, I'm pretty sure this and his casket match with Heidenreich are probably the only casket matches I've ever seen. But, I don't know, I don't feel like you can do it really that well.
I mean, yeah, it's true. It's a bit of a silly gimmick. It's hard to do a proper match.
Like, there's no real consequence to being in the casket. Like, there was, like, when they had their first casket match and Undertaker just goes away, like, it's just like, they don't bury you in it. You just get shut in a casket for a little bit. It's the same as an ambulance match.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fuck the casket matches off. Give me more Inferno matches. I want to see people get lit on fire. I only had 2 notes, just like you, Pricey, and they were the entrances for this match take 1,000 billion hours. It really just extends the length of the show. And also, Gorilla Monsoon keeps referring to Paul Bearer's face as his kisser, and it really just, for some reason, pissed me off. Like, he just kept being like, look at the face on Paul Bearer's... look at the emotion on Paul Bearer's kisser. I'm like... Just call it his face, man.
Power ran the kisser.
I was going to make mention of that because I feel like he did it earlier in the show as well.
Just fucking...
But I just...
he just keeps going to the well. Look at Paul Bearer's kisser. First of all, I'd prefer not to look at Paul Bearer's face, and second of all, stop saying that.
I didn't have the energy to write a note down during this one.
You
burnt out.
You had the shakes by the end of it.
Yeah, money shakes.
So do you have any final thoughts on the casket match number 2 between Undertaker and Yokozuna?
After I watched that video of the Royal Rumble casket match, I would have rather watched that one because it's funny. And that's it.
It's the best match on a shit show.
I think, that's a pretty good summary. I was about to ask what the match of the night is, but I think for me and Nat, it's pretty unanimously the casket match. What about you, Pricey? You in a unanimous agreement?
Yeah, I think we'll go all in on it, and it's also the shortest one, so that's always good for me when picking a match on a shit show. Is like which one took the less time.
Yeah, that's actually impressive. The main event was the shortest match on the card.
Yeah, you don't say that too often.
So something that's a little bit trickier. What do you think is the worst match on this card?
That is a tough question. I'm going to use the same logic I did for the match of the night and say the submission match because it's the longest one. I have to sit through that for 35 minutes.
What about you, Nat? What's your choice?
Cheesy, Queasy, and Tyler Breezy.
Tyler Breezy could have got
Series.
that match over.
100% when he was doing his dress up gimmicks.
Yeah. When they wrestled the Usos and he kept rolling away from them doing the splash.
Yeah, would have been good.
That's one of my favorite matches of all time.
Honestly, it was a pretty good match. I wanted to win the belts there, and just they didn't strap the rockets to him.
I should have. Missing out.
My least favorite match, or worst match on the card, I think it's a tough one between Royal Family and Clowns Are Us and the WWF Championship match. I feel like I kind of want to give it to Bob Backlund and Bret Hart because it goes so long, but to be fair, the fucking cheesy, Jeezy, and Fleazy match, at times it feels like it goes 35 minutes, so...
Hey, Bob Backlund had Bret Hart in a submission for half the length of that Clowns Are Us match.
Wow,
Jesus.
that's actually true.
Think about that.
He had Bret Hart in the submission for almost as long as the main event match.
That's so sad.
Wow. But I mean, to be fair, they really needed that 8 minutes to get across that Bret Hart is Owen Hart's brother.
Well, I didn't know that beforehand, but now I do. So it's good.
Because he yelled out, "That's my brother in there!" You know that Bret Hart and Owen Hart are related.
After the third or fourth time, I started to think, oh,
They gotta do something.
they both wear pink singlets. This might be something here.
Ooh, I hope that maybe the Usos do something like this. That's my brother in there, Us.
And then Rikishi has to throw in the towel.
Yeah. Oh, so, what are your overall thoughts on Survivor Series 1994 as a pay-per-view?
Nathan's done it again. Picked an absolute ripper.
Nat really knows how to pick a shit show.
Hey, I've watched them from bloody here and there and everywhere from 2018 to 1983. I know the bad shows, and this is going to be one that's going to be hard to top.
You can't deny that you know how to pick them, and you love to
I know how to
stick
kick them.
I'm glad you went there. That's what I wanted.
You know what's underrated? When they had that segment where Colt Cabana did his entrance.
What?
Does no one remember this on Being the Elite?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I do.
I'm
Actually.
going to need more details than that.
Just he's singing the lyrics in different places.
Oh, yeah, okay, I do remember it now that you said
And
that.
then in the last one, he sees Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
I'll just quickly make mention of I meant to mention it before, Brandon, when you said it was confusing, like the countouts in the Survivor Series matches.
Yeah.
Howard Finkel, they needed him, saying, "Mabel has been eliminated." Like,
Yeah, it was
after-
really
Yes.
awkward that they don't do that. Like, the elimination happens and the crowd doesn't really react. Like,
yeah.
it just falls flat every time.
That's when I know it's a Survivor Series match, when the ring announcer's telling us someone's been eliminated.
My overall thoughts, this quite possibly might be the worst pay-per-view I've ever watched. The people these days in 2018, the kids these days in 2018 are fucking spoiled. They get on their old Twitter machine and say, "This is the worst fucking shit I've ever seen. This is the worst pay-per-view in WWE history." No, shut the fuck up. Go back to 1994. Watch 4 midgets wrestle each other. Then an old man put a chicken wing fucking on Bret Hart for 8 minutes while his brother screams. That right there is the worst pay-per-view that you've ever seen. Not fucking, at least these days the matches are good.
Yeah. These days, we get upset with the booking, not the in-ring stuff, I think.
Imagine doing the championship match in this day and age.
Oh, no.
People would go nuts. But, he was in submission for 8 minutes. How did he not tap out? That's fucked.
Yeah, people would chill over it.
Fucking wrestling Twitter. Wrestling Twitter was a mistake. But if that's all of our thoughts on Survivor Series 1994, we're going to move on to the aftermath of the show. And shortly after Survivor Series, Diesel was named the top contender to Backlund's title. And Backlund's first defense of this title was made at a Madison Square Garden live show just 3 days after Survivor Series. And in this match, we see Diesel defeat him with the jackknife powerbomb in 8 seconds. So with that victory, Diesel would join Bret Hart and Pedro Morales as the only wrestlers to that point to be Triple Crown champions, and he became the quickest to do so, having won all 3 components of that within the span of 7 months. But fun fact, this record was broken by CM Punk in 2009.
Oh, yeah.
The more you know.
So CM Punk likes to shit on about how the WWE mistreated him. Well, fuck you. You were the quickest Triple Crown champion. Piece of shit. So yeah, we kind of touched on this before, but like, what was the point of Backlund winning the belt?
I mean, I think you sort of touched on it. It's just to save Bret, but then to get the title on Diesel. I think that's the only reason you could have for this.
Vince just must have really been desperate to get it on Diesel. Like, he must have known that fans wouldn't give a shit about Backlund being champion. They're like, let's literally have one episode of... Wait, Raw hadn't started, had it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, 93.
Oh, yeah, it started in 93. So, yeah, literally one episode of Raw with Backlund as champion and then get it off him.
That's pretty funny.
Which, I mean, yeah, it's just... Basically, Bob Backlund's championship reign here is a fun little factoid that you can tell your friends on the playground.
Or you can put it in a trivia segment.
I can't wait for us to review something that had Bob Backlund managing Darren Young, and then you'll bring up his championship reign, and then we'll actually know about that because we've watched it.
Or you guys might have forgotten about it and suppressed it.
Oh, I'll never forget this.
I'm gonna try to forget it.
So Bret Hart would return at the Royal Rumble in January 1995. They really played up his supposed injuries from being in the deadly chicken face crosswing for 8 minutes. So at the Royal Rumble, he would face Diesel to try and regain his title. Backlund would interfere in the match, and this would restart their rivalry and lead to an I Quit match at WrestleMania 11. Hart would win the match by using the crossface chicken wing to make Backlund concede defeat. I kind of want to review WrestleMania 11 now just to see if that match is also complete dog shit.
Is WrestleMania 11 the one with Bam Bam versus the football dude?
I think
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Jesus.
That's definitely got to be on our list, I'd say so.
Yeah, that might be the one we do for WrestleMania week next year.
I mean, imagine wasting Bret Hart in his prime, his WrestleMania match, on another Bob Backlund disaster.
That match goes for 9 minutes. 9.5 minutes.
See, that's what their match at this should have been 9 minutes, and 8 of it should have been the crossface chicken wing.
Yeah, could you imagine? That match almost went the same amount of time that Bret was in the crossface chicken wing. That's fucking ridiculous.
Man, no wonder business was fucking down. So I know you were all wanting to know what was happening with Lex Luger after this, but his feud with the $1 Million Corporation would not continue, as the corporation would begin to target The Undertaker. The Undertaker would spend most of the following year feuding with the corporation as he faced IRS at the 95 Royal Rumble, King Kong Bundy at WrestleMania 11, and is it Kama or Karma? I don't know.
Karma Mustafa.
Okay. At SummerSlam 95, which just a trio of barn burners, I'm sure. As Nat mentioned in his trivia, Lex Luger would be placed in a tag team with Davey Boy Smith, and they'd be known as the Allied Powers.
Cheater.
This team would be dissolved in the summer of 1995 after Smith would turn heel, and Luger left the company following SummerSlam to return to WCW. As for Yokozuna, he did not regain his main event status after Survivor Series. After taking some time off, he made a surprise return at WrestleMania 11 as Owen Hart's partner in a tag team title match against the Smoking Guns. Yokozuna and Hart would win the WWF Tag Team Championships, and Owen's feud with Bret would be dropped. The brothers would eventually reunite in 1997 to form the Hart Foundation, a stable that would also include Davey Boy and Jim Neidhart. So the next WWF pay-per-view was the 95 Royal Rumble, which took place on January 22 in Tampa, Florida. And the match for that card was Tatanka defeating Bam Bam Bigelow, Jacques Rougeau and Pierre Oulet. I can't pronounce that French shit.
Yeah, good luck with that.
They would defeat Bret and Owen Hart to retain the tag titles. Razor Ramon defeated IRS to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Yokozuna defeated The Undertaker in a casket match to retain the WWF Championship. And I've 100% grabbed the wrong Royal Rumble here.
That's 93.
Yeah, I grabbed the wrong one.
You fucking
Oh well.
I'm like, this doesn't have Bret Hart wrestling Diesel.
Wait, so which one do you need? The 95 one?
Yeah,
Right,
95
right
Rumble.
now. Do you want me to go through it? Or?
Yeah, bust it out. I was going to say, Tatanka and Bam Bam Bigelow turned on each other pretty quickly.
Ding dong. Jeff Jarrett with the Roadie defeated Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental title. The Undertaker defeated IRS. Diesel and Bret Hart had a draw for the world title. 1-2-3 Kid and Bob Holly beat Bam Bam, Bigelow, and Tatanka for the tag titles. And then Shawn Michaels won the Royal Rumble.
Makes a lot more sense, that card.
A little bit more, yeah.
Honestly, the card that I just read out still kind of makes sense. Like, you could see Tatanka and Bam Bam wrestling. Razor Ramon and IRS were still around. Yokozuna and Taker were feuding.
Just everything except for retaining the title.
Yeah, it's...
No, Yoko and Undertaker
Bret
had
Hart.
the best of 3 casket matches series.
That's why my comment was here. It was like, why the hell did Yokozuna and Undertaker have so many casket matches?
Ding dong.
But yeah, that's... I'm lucky I caught that. Lucky I didn't just go through it and just be like, yeah, that's what happened. Bret Hart and Lex Luger won the Royal Rumble. And Bret Hart was like, no, I'm not having my championship match. I'm going to wrestle Bob Backlund.
Yeah, Nathan and I usually don't pay attention when you say this stuff, so...
Because Shawn wins that Rumble, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I believe so. And he wrestles
Diesel.
Diesel, yeah.
at Mania. I didn't know that they wrestled at Mania. I'm sure that
And
was
he
a
loses. He loses to Diesel.
Well, you know what they say. Hong Kong. But yeah, I guess that does us for our Survivor Series 1994 review. Thanks for listening to the Wrestle Hunks podcast. You can find the show on Twitter and Instagram at Wrestle Hunks Pod. I'm on Twitter as @SauceMarlow. Pricey is on Twitter as @EvilBrodyPrice. DM him if you're looking for some surf gear because he has that 40% off for friends and family deal at Jetty Surf. Is it any Jetty Surf or is it just your Jetty Surf that you're the manager of?
I mean, no, you got to come in and see me. Otherwise, you're not getting it.
Just a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge under the table.
They don't have to know. It's actually not really a thing. I'm just going to give people a discount.
You can do the discounts now that you're the manager.
Yeah, I'll run the show.
Nat is also on Twitter as @NathMarlow. You can also find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, all the services that support podcasts. You can listen to this show if you don't have an Apple-supported device. Just PSA out there for all the hunkamaniacs. And feel free to rate us on iTunes or whatever whack fucking podcast service you use, unless it's Google Play. You can shove it up your ass. Each member of the podcast suggests a show to cover for next week, and we chuck that up in a Twitter poll. And this week we're theming it for TLC because we'll be recording episode 16 on the day of the 2018 TLC pay-per-view. And I've decided to throw up the TLC 2011 event, which, off the top of my head, it is pretty dog shit. I can't remember any of the matches specifically at the moment, but, like, I know there's, like, it starts off real well. There are 3.5/3.25 matches to start the show. And then we get a 3/4 star, 3/4 star, 1.5 star, 1/4 star match. So I picked it because there's some gems in there, and there's also some dog shit, like Triple H defeating Kevin Nash in a sledgehammer ladder match.
Oh, that's gonna.
I don't remember this.
Oh, yeah, there's a reason why you don't, because it fucking sucks. It's also got a chairs match there, so, you know, it's got something for everyone.
Does it have a stairs match?
It doesn't. I considered putting tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs.
That's my one.
Oh, is it?
Oh, spoilers. But yeah, the main event of this is a 4.25 star TLC match between CM Punk, Alberto Del Rio, and The Miz. I don't remember this happening, but I mean, based on the rating, it sounds like a barn burner.
Fuck, yours actually sounds like a good show.
It sounds like it's like the good kind of shit. Like, you have to put up with like 30 minutes to an hour of absolute fucking dog shit in the middle. But yeah, like, there's a little nugget of gold at the end. So what are you suggesting for this week, Pricey?
I'm going with One Night Stand 2008. The TLC match in that is Edge versus The Undertaker. It's the main event. But also on the card, there's a Singapore Cane match for the number one contender to the ECW title. There's Falls Count Anywhere match, First Blood match. There's a whole plethora of great matches.
Is that just looking up to see if this is the One Night Stand I'm thinking of? It's not. This actually looks like an okay show. It's got Matt Hardy and Shelton Benjamin in a dark match as well. Fun for the whole family.
That's it. I pick good shows, unlike Nathan. He picks, he does it the right way, I guess, picking bad shows.
So yeah, Nat, you mentioned you were doing Tables, Ladders, Chairs and Stairs 2014.
I am. Big Show versus Eric Rowan. That's gonna be fucking shit.
Big Red.
We get Mizdow on this show, which is pretty cool. We get a really good match though. Dolph Ziggler and Luke Harper in the ladder match.
I do remember that. Luke Harper fucks up his elbow in this with a gnarly ass bump.
The main event is not even for either title. It is Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose in a TLC match. Don't even
the
remember
exploding
that.
TV.
Yes, actually, fuck.
This might have been the first pay-per-view I watched on the network.
We also get Ryback and Kane in a chairs match and tables match Cena and Seth.
Wait, so who was... So I'm guessing... Wait, who was champion at the time?
2014?
I think, yeah, Cena. Pretty sure.
It would be
Or
Cena
maybe
or
Seth.
It says...
Well, Cena wins,
Seth.
so...
No, it says Cena versus Seth here, and if Cena lost, he would have to lose his number one contendership for the world title.
Cena wins.
Yeah, so who's champion?
It's a good question.
I don't fucking know.
Everyone's going to have to vote for it, so we find out.
Well, you know what? I said I'd bring the authority back.
I bring the authority back.
So we also have the wild card option, and I haven't chucked anything up yet. I was thinking because we have 3 pay-per-views there, I was thinking one of the Raw or SmackDown TLC matches.
I mean, one I saw that I thought would be bad was Edge versus Ric Flair.
That was, I think, the January 16, 2006 TLC
Put that
match.
in. Put that in.
Chuck that one in.
That one?
Put that in.
Well, there's also The Miz and Jerry Lawler have a TLC match.
Jeez.
Oh, that's tempting.
And that's the 2013 one, which is actually... It takes place 2 weeks after Del Rio murders Santa.
I couldn't hear any of that.
The TLC match with King and Miz takes place 2 weeks after Del Rio murders Santa.
Oh, nice. That's a good follow-up.
So I mean that we have those options, and we have an actual good TLC match that occurred on SmackDown.
Nice.
So what do we reckon?
It's up to pricey.
No, I want Edge and Flair. Sort of get an earlier 2000s one in.
The real live sex celebration era.
That's my favourite era.
I'm just I'm having a look at the SmackDown that had the tables, ladders, and chairs match on it. It had X-Pac defeating Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle defeating Spike Dudley, Dean Malenko with Perry Saturn and Terry Runnels versus Raven, an intergender match between Grandmaster Sexay, Steve Blackman, Trish Stratus defeating Right to Censor, and then an Intercontinental Championship match between Kane and Rhino.
They're all pretty good picks, so I'm happy with any of them.
But no, we'll take the old man wrestling Edge in a TLC.
Can't wait.
So do either of you have any final words before we sign off here?
I don't think so, not this week. Actually,
What?
Nathan,
Yeah, what?
what did you tell me this morning about NXT and someone that's you've enjoyed watching?
Oh, Dakota Kai.
Yeah.
I don't like her. And her match with Shayna Baszler changed my opinion on that.
Yeah. There you go.
She's the Kingslayer.
Yes.
She's also the Sexton Slayer.
Elliot Sexton sucks.
I'd like to say make sure you eat your vitamins. 5 life.
You cut out at the worst time just then.
Just eat your vitamins and eat your 205 live.
That's it. Thumbs up.
Make sure you don't eat it in the shower though. It's
Oh
actually
yeah,
gonna happen.
don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't eat your 205 though in the shower.
Don't eat your phone.
Don't lose your phone either.
Exactly.
Well, I guess that's all for this week then. Stay hunky.